So I'm back. I'm shuffling the Akashic Tarot deck, and well, I just like this card was like teetering off, and I caught it. So it's the War of Roses, the King of Scrolls, the Queen of Roses. so yeah, the War of Roses. And you can visit my Patreon site, www.patreon.com/bluecrystal, BLUECHRISTYL. And I do have a recording there called The War of the Roses. You know, in the Alice in Wonderland Tarot and that story, which I use to illustrate the importance of #HelpAnimals2 in my quiz. There is a card that shows some flying monkeys, if you will, or, you know, followers, quote unquote, which came out in describing Biden as the page, the cleverer follower, who's extraordinary but also dangerous. It shows some of the Queen's helpers, if you will. The Queen's helpers painting the white rose red, and that's exactly what these fools do. Painting the white rose red. The red rose is right between the apple and the crown. So I don't wonder what happened to Princess Diana. You know. But a lot of this is going to come out because they can't fool us with their snakery much longer. So yeah, the War of the Roses came out. And I barely shuffled, and I was going to just do a pre-shuffle off camera and then commence tomorrow. But something told me just to pop back on and get it filmed. So War of the Roses came out. And let's see, can you clarify the War of Roses, please? In relation to what I just spoke about for 2 hours, actually. Yeah, I had a feeling because these cards were strong. And both of these are really important. So on the bottom of the deck, on the right-hand side, is the card that I use to teach about natural resources, control, and hoarding, and other topics under its elemental. That's the Three of Roses, loving elementals, and the Three of Forces. So that's 3-3, the bird's nest, and there's the mama bird trying to feed and take care of her young, which is poignant because, you know, these two images show a healthy atmosphere. They even show the fairies. And, you know, that's what I was going to say at the beginning of the last part of the reading. It is magical, and that's what I was being shown even during my worst days of struggling to get, you know, walking so that I could get my stamina going again after having heart attack symptoms as a mama bird. And my son in college, you know, and concerned about him as well, because he was also being harmed electronically, even as he was trying to attend college and finish, and also enduring emotional abuse, right? Verbal and emotional abuse. I was getting notified of these things happening up north in Chico, okay? Chico, California. He was at Chico State. So yeah, these are important behind loving elementals and, you know, its elemental readings. They also correlate to Earth is Magical readings. Yeah, it's been a journey, and it's been a covenant that we've had to go through. The Ark of the Covenant is right behind. And that covenant is, to protect what belongs to God's chosen, God's children, not who these people are trying to favor through the common law justice system, which has crown rule. Okay, they wear black robes, and so do the popes. Okay, crown. And what they're doing to families and children, and what they were planning to do to us, is becoming more evident. So that's why they've been getting my thorns as the rebel with a cause. And, I'm a Gen X, so yeah, these are the cards that came out in when I shuffled and got the War of the Roses and showed you the Loving Elementals and the Bird's Nest. Guess what came out? Why I was getting downloads as a scientist, targeted intricacies in industry, industrialists. These are the robber barons. They're also called, the German word also, when you look that up, King of Scrolls comes out again. Look up what robber baron means in German. Archangel Gabriel is the angel of the West, which is where I'm at. And balance. That's what we're here to achieve. Gabriel has to do with the heart, with love, okay? And there's not a lot of love in these corporations and industry, military industrial complex. So this is where the balance is going to come in. So let's see, since I'm already here, let's see what the Moonology deck shows. This is the book that I show for my monster reading. The 11/19/2021 reading. I have a couple other things that I'll come back. It has to do with the DSM-4 manual, pages 31 and 32, about axis number 4, the psychosocial and environmental problems. And I did hear that the military industrial complex had managed to change the definition of what disorder meant, obviously to change what suits them, just like they did the Bible. Well, not the military industrial complex, but the Crown and the Catholic Church, and on since biblical times, how they've kept certain omissions. They've made sure omissions in the Bible didn't tell the full story, and that certain books were left out, including Mary of Magdalene writings. I have some notes here about going back to 2022. That's around the time that things ramped up where we're at now. Excuse me. So they do follow us from state to state, which is racketeering, essentially, when they have thieving and pillaging on their minds. I also have here 2023 New Moon Energy card. It's elemental reading number 7. We have a new moon. We just had a full moon in Sag of about 2 weeks ago at the end of May. And so what I'm saying is, this is divine timing. It's by moon cycles. And we know the moon regulates our lives menstrual cycle, the migration of animals in the evenings, etc., the tides. So it's really important. The fixed moon card came out in my Earth is Magical reading number 7. This was in 2022-2023 time period. The moonstone came out, and so did the Wheel of Fortune. So just what I'm getting at, despite all these controls to inculcate more and more war to build up industry, I was learning about all these intricacies behind the scenes and writing a book about my experiences, which they didn't want, probably because I was a female scientist. Okay. Living in the West. I just heard good job again. Living in the West, there's another 3. 333. 3 of Forces was the bird's nest. 3 is Archangel Gabriel. And the other 3 was the Loving Elementals. 3 of Roses, I think it was. So yeah, there's 333. Things are being balanced, 333. The other intricacy I learned about, or 33, has to do with intricacies in industry as well, and that is the 33rd degree Mason influence that needs to be balanced on our planet, and that goes back to the Knights Templar. I didn't know, actually, that, stop it, I didn't know that Nikola Tesla was a Templar, but he was, so that makes sense. So they do attack their own, and they certainly attacked me and my son. So, and what I've managed to achieve is going to be coming to light more soon, or I should say sooner than I anticipated, although it has been a long wait, and I've had to rest and wait for divine timing, which happens to correlate with my sun sign Libra and the new moon solar eclipse in Libra as well. So I'm going to shuffle this Moonology deck. The top of the deck card says your hard work is paying off. So that's extremely exciting to me. I just saw emotions are running high, and they have been in our neighborhoods because people know that things need to change. I just saw a new start is coming. Balance spirituality and practicality, which I've had to learn how to do. Once you're in 5D and above, you don't want to come back down to this because it is hell on earth. And something else is at the controls, okay? So you might want to read The Antichrist and a Cup of Tea. The person that wrote that is former Air Force, U.S. Air Force. It says here, my notes on the Antichrist. The Antichrist shall be revealed. The Antichrist and the wicked shall be revealed. 1 John 2:18, 1 John 4:3, and 2 Thessalonians 2. The wicked by their iniquities shall be revealed. So again, pick your passion, your true passion that inspires you, and not fear, because that pulls you down into their control dramas. That's where Satan is, and ego. Satan is a legalist, most definitely. So trust neutrality that provides balance. opportunities to balance. Be neutral. Don't get caught up in their warmongering. And that's exactly what I was learning and leaving behind. But it does follow you. So as they target and murder others, they lose not only their humanity, but their resonance with their home and their homeland and their planet. And they try to adjust externally as care and consideration diminish. And loved lessens, lessens, meaning they basically lose consciousness. They're not consciously aware and operating in a positive light despite their image. And that's what the devil uses to enforce its will. Hashtag IT or capital IT, capital I, capital T. So consider what was going on at the new moon energy in Sag 2023. That's November 28th. I pulled a third quarter moon card, which correlated to December 5th, 2023. That correlates 2 years later from the time that I prepared the reading with the orange tablecloth about I was talking about